Welcome to Find Myself Free, the podcast. I'm Ellie Young, alcohol-free life coach, mom, and athlete. I'm dedicated to helping others change their relationship to alcohol by sharing my journey of transformation. Fascinated by my own capacity for change after decades of gray area drinking, I'm passionate about sharing what I've learned from neuroscience and positive psychology to help you break free from the drinking cycle and unlock your true potential. Hear my personal stories of triumph and struggle as I navigate raising two boys, finding myself after 40, building a business, and doing it all alcohol free. From women's health and cycle syncing to fasting and biohacking, this podcast is your roadmap to a healthier, purpose filled life that starts with changing your relationship to alcohol. It's time to embrace change, find balance, and create the life you were meant for. Welcome to Find Myself Free. Hey, everybody. Before we get to the show, I wanted to invite you to check out my new free resource. It's called Breaking Up with Booze. Check out the link in my show notes. But essentially, this is just a free guide where I break down the two most common beliefs that are keeping women stuck in the drinking cycle. Now, I know what you need. You want to feel confident socializing alcohol-free. You want to be able to manage your stress, but without the crutch of alcohol. And ultimately, we all want to experience joy and connection without the hangover. So this is a completely free resource that you should check out, Breaking Up with Booze, because I know you are finally ready to level up your health. So check it out today. Head on over to my show notes and get the link. I hope to see you there. Hey everyone, I'm excited to announce that I am now an AG1 Ambassador, and I wanted to share with you why I'm so passionate about this amazing product. AG1 has become a key part of my daily routine. Every morning, I start with my day with a scoop of AG1, which is packed with 75 high-quality ingredients, including vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and adaptogens. It's all about giving my body what it needs to feel its best. Personally, one of the biggest benefits I've experienced has been immune system support. I've noticed that when I'm traveling or life is hectic and I'm not taking as good of care of myself, I feel better when I'm taking AG1, and I have peace of mind that I'm getting comprehensive nutrition to support my busy lifestyle. Another benefit I've loved is how AG1 supports my metabolism. I've noticed that as my cycle and hormones fluctuate, I have less cravings, I feel less bloated because I'm supporting my microbiome. As an ambassador, I'm thrilled to offer you an exclusive deal that you can't get anywhere else. This is literally the best deal that they offer, and it's only available through ambassadors like myself. With your first purchase as a new customer, you'll get a free 1-year supply of D3K2 drops to support your immune system, 10 free AG1 travel packs, and a 30-day supply of omega-3 pills. Wow. So I've really enjoyed how easy it is to make AG1 part of my daily routine, and I think you will too. If you're ready to start your journey to better health, check out in the show notes my ambassador link and make sure you purchase through that to receive my ambassador deal. If you'd like to try a few samples beforehand, you can always email me at Ellie, ELLY, at findmyselffree.com, and I have some samples that I can send you. Now, on to the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Find Myself Free. I'm Ellie Young, and today's episode is going to be really resource heavy. I'm going to provide a lot of links in the show notes today because I have gone on a health journey recently that I want to share with you all because I think a lot of you are going to benefit from my experience. Seeing a naturopath, getting a diagnosis for Hashimoto's, understanding the difference between Hashimoto's and perimenopause, because so many of the symptoms of perimenopause and Hashimoto's are so similar that it's really hard to tease out what's what. And my experience getting a bunch of different labs done and why they're different, the extended panels you should be requesting, because oftentimes the labs we're getting from our general kind of practitioner once a year are not thorough enough, are going to be missing a lot of key biomarkers that would help you better get to the root cause of some of your symptoms. And then we'll go down the road of all the supplements that I have been trying and prescribed, as well as hormone replacement therapy. So I have been doing a ton of research over the last 2.5 weeks since my diagnosis because I want to know more. And let's just start with my experience going to a naturopath. So, well, first I'll back up and talk about my experience going to my general practitioner, right? So I see her usually once a year. I She orders my labs. It's just a general, blood panel. They do, the cholesterol, all of the kind of the main things there. And everything always checks out, right? My thyroid's always looked good. My blood sugars looked good. I do have high cholesterol. I've had high cholesterol since I was like in my mid 20s. A lot of people say this is hereditary, which it definitely is. They say it's like 80% hereditary, 20% diet. But what's interesting is that for the longest time, I have barely even eaten red meat or eggs. And I've always had been a really like veggie kind of girl. Even when I did my blood work this past year, I had just returned from a vegan retreat, which I'm not vegan, but this is just what this retreat happened to be. It was a plant-based retreat in Costa Rica. So I had come back off a week of only eating vegetables and no meat and no eggs, and my cholesterol was still high. So that is really lending itself to this idea that, man, it's really in my genes. A lot of doctors will kind of throw out that LDL cholesterol number now, especially if you have high HDL, right? A really amazing book that I want to share with you. Again, this is going to be really resource heavy podcast. So I want to share with you guys all of the research that I do to back up the stuff I share with you guys. So it's all legit. This is Dr. Casey Means' book, Good Energy, one of the best books and most modern take on nutrition and what's wrong with our health. And it comes down to your mitochondria health. So I actually put a lot of this in my coaching program. So everything I research and learn is really like selfishly driven by me trying to solve my own health, things. I'm also a bit of a perfectionist. So I want things like I don't want just like okay health. I don't want to just be in the normal range, which is what a lot of labs just tend to do. They're like, oh, you're in the normal range, but you could be at like the low end of normal or just under the high range, right? And so like my cholesterol is always like right on the cusp. And like, so they're like, you don't need statins, and not that I want to be on statins, but like, anything like that. They're like, well, you fall in the normal range. So let's just skip right over it. And that was what was going on with my thyroid. My thyroid was in the normal range. But when I went to a naturopath, and I went to a naturopath because I get debilitating migraines. And over the last, I would say 6 months, they have gotten progressively worse and more frequent. So I was getting them maybe like every other month or maybe every 3 months, always right before my period. So they're hormonally driven. Then I started getting them like clockwork right before my period. And it was so I was just like, I can't have this happen anymore. The medicine wasn't really working. I thought I was doing everything holistically that I could do to balance my hormones. I was cycle syncing my nutrition. I was exercising according to my cycle. I was really paying attention to stress management as much as one can because stress is everywhere, and our ability to tolerate stress goes down as our estrogen goes down in perimenopause. But I was still getting these debilitating migraines. So I went to the naturopath to see if we could dig a little deeper, and I had never had my hormones tested. So I was like, let's do this. Like I coach hormone balance, and honestly, between 40 and 43, I was kicking ass with hormone balance, and was having so much success with intermittent fasting, with cycle syncing my nutrition. My clients were having a lot of success, largely from cutting alcohol, which improves their sleep, which improves their stress levels. And then we were integrating these cycle syncing practices, and people were like feeling better and better and better. And then you only get better at fine tuning this. But at 43, something changed for me. And to be perfectly honest, within the past year, I've put on 10 to 15 pounds. Most people say they can't see it on me, but I know what the scale says. And I hadn't really weighed myself. That was the problem, was I kind of stay away from scales. I know how my clothes fit, but my energy levels shifted. My muscle mass shifted. My body composition shifted. And I was shocked when I saw the scale. I was like, whoa, what the heck? And I was still doing tons of intermittent fasting. My diet hadn't changed. And then, of course, I was getting these really bad migraines. So we went to the naturopath. We do the extended lipid panel, which looks more closely at your LDL particles. So it looks more closely at the type of cholesterol particles and the size of them. So they can actually rule out, like, you don't want to have you don't want to have these small, dense cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol. The big, fluffy ones are the ones that are safe, actually. So even though you can take a statin, a lot of studies say, and this is kind of like not defined science yet, the statins help to lower the big, fluffy LDL, the larger sized particles, which actually aren't the ones you need to worry about as far as clogging up your arteries. You worry about the small, dense ones. And so while a statin may lower your overall LDL level and lower your cholesterol, it does nothing to eliminate these small, dense ones. And so that's why a lot of doctors are like, if you don't have any other unhealthy biomarkers, like your blood sugar looks really good, your triglycerides are really good, your healthy cholesterol, the HDL, is actually high, then it is offsetting this and you don't need to pay attention to it as much. But it's still, to me, it's something I want to watch and I want to look out for. But I can't do any further improvements in lifestyle and diet. Like, I'm maxing out those options, which again is why I was kind of like at a crossroads with a lot of this health stuff. So when these panels came back, I also did the hormone panel, right? I was shocked to see that my thyroid antibodies were like off the charts high, which means that something is attacking, my immune system is attacking my thyroid. This, by definition, is Hashimoto's, okay? This explains a lot. A lot of the symptoms of Hashimoto's are super similar to perimenopause. It's like brain fog, sluggish metabolism, sensitivity to cold. You're cold all the time. I'm actually not cold all the time, probably because I cold plunge. I've become like really cold tolerant, but I have all of a sudden lost my ability to tolerate the cold plunge within the last like 3 months, which again is really like, what's going on? Like, all of a sudden I got so sensitive to it. Additionally, like, you struggle with weight loss. So while I have Hashimoto's, my thyroid was still showing in the normal range. What I then learned is that the normal range of thyroid is a bit out of date. Again, you don't want your thyroid to just be like, oh, you're barely within the normal range. You want it to be optimal, right? So mine was at the lowest end of normal range, which is called subclinical, which means your thyroid is basically trending downward. It's not in the like, ooh, it's low yet, but something's happening there, which is why it's almost like we caught it a little bit early. But Hashimoto's can progress for like 7 to 8 years before your thyroid is really damaged enough to the point where like all of a sudden your thyroid starts to tank significantly. But Hashimoto's can still mean you have basically your immune system is being triggered by, it could be food, it could be toxins in the environment, it could be an infection related. A lot of people, it can stem from Epstein-Barr virus, which I went down the rabbit hole on that recently, and it's most likely that everybody has Epstein-Barr or has had it, and that it kind of lays dormant, but it can flare, and it can also trigger Hashimoto's. And what was the last one? Oh, stress. So again, it goes very, very hand in hand, Hashimoto's, because a lot of the things we're working on in perimenopause, we're working on our nutrition, we're working on detoxing the toxins in our environment. Infections is separate, but we're also working on stress. And again, it gets so much harder to manage stress as we get older because we have less estrogen. And your estrogen is that buffer. It is the thing that helps you buffer the stress. And in fact, as your estrogen goes away and your ability to buffer the stress becomes less and less, your body responds with more adrenaline and more cortisol to compensate, because it's like, whoa, what's going on? So it just, boom, just totally carries your stress into like unmanageable levels for stuff that you used to be able to get through. Like, and here is another interesting part of my health journey. I get shingles every fall. I have for probably the last 5 years. I didn't even know it was shingles for a long time. I just thought I had this strange itch, scratch on my shoulder. It was like under the skin. I recently learned in my Epstein-Barr deep dive about shingles, and that there's like, I don't know, 12 different versions of shingles. And I have the one that doesn't present with like a rash. It just is like under the skin, creepy crawly. It's like I can't get to it, itch on my shoulder, and I can't sleep. And it stems from having a low immune system response. Again, all tied to Epstein-Barr virus, all tied to Hashimoto's. So lots of things are kind of like coming. I can make these kind of connections now in my health. And what's really interesting to me is like my mom called and she's all freaked out. She's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" She's all upset. I didn't share with her right away. She's like, "Why did I have to find out with the rest of the world?" And the thing is, it's not that I'm not concerned about this. I am, I'm very I'm glad that there's an explanation. I guess when we go do this kind of blood work and we are searching for something, we do want to land on something instead of it just being like a mystery. Like, well, we don't know. Keep trying to diet, keep trying to get good sleep, and remove toxins from your life. But we just don't have like a very, very clear um, path. And so Hashimoto's has really helped me kind of narrow my efforts and to really get really, really specific about the things that I believe are triggering my Hashimoto's. And I would like to also go back to my experience with my naturopath. So oftentimes we go to a naturopath because we want more personal attention, right? When you go to a regular doctor, it's like a 15-minute appointment. It feels very rushed. It doesn't feel like you have a ton of time to talk to them and to really, they're just like there to diagnose and prescribe, right? This is the critique. I know all doctors are different. In fact, my general practitioner, I think, spends a little more time with me than most probably. And I do like her. But I've always kind of felt a little bit rushed. And so most of my doctor experience is like WebMD and Google searching and educating myself with podcasts and doing a little bit of like, self-diagnosis, self-treatment. That's how I've basically taught myself. But going the naturopath route, I thought it was going to be really different. I thought, oh, they're going to spend a lot of time with me. They're going to really listen to the whole picture of my health and my stuff. What that really amounted to be perfectly honest, was me filling out a long-ass questionnaire that asked all sorts of questions about my history, about my stress levels, all the things you could possibly imagine, right? Really, really in-depth questionnaire. Then my first appointment cost $345 for her to review this information with me over a Zoom call. And it was supposed to be a 90-minute call, but it didn't take that long, probably because I'm like well-versed in this stuff. And I was like, I could explain it. But she basically asked me the same questions in the questionnaire. So I basically was kind of like repeating myself a little bit. And she was like taking notes and stuff. And then there was no like education on anything. And I really want to be taught things. I really want to understand the science. I really want to know. So, and again, I'm not going to name who this practitioner was because I wanted to see her partner in the practice who happens to specialize more in hormones, but she wasn't available until December. And this was like August when I was trying to make the appointment. And so this one was available and I was like, okay, I'll see her. She's got to be great. And she is great. I didn't get the level of education or even just explanation about anything. She was just like, okay, we're going to order you these tests. And that was it. And it wasn't even a 90-minute appointment. And she at the end was like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to charge you for the full time because we didn't go 90 minutes because you move really quickly. And I was like, okay, cool. She still billed me the same. I didn't fight it. I just didn't take the time to do that. After I did the labs, a month went by to review the labs and for our next appointment, again, a $345 appointment. And this time she spent an hour very quickly, again, over a Zoom call, screen sharing me and like going through the labs, like quicker, crazy fast. And then only kind of pointing out the high things and like circling it with like a little digital pen and being like, oh, okay, so this one was high and this one was high and showing me the normal ranges. Basically, not helping me connect a lot of the dots. It was still a very speedy explanation. And when she got to the part about Hashimoto's, she was like, oh, yeah. And we're going to go past this. Oh, and right here, your thyroid. Yeah, your thyroid is abnormal. And she's like, your thyroid levels are actually okay. She didn't point out subclinical. She just said, your thyroid's actually doing fine, but your thyroid antibodies are very high. She circled them and they're really high, like crazy high. Both of the two different antibodies that can be high, I had both of them skyrocketing high. And she's like, by definition, this is Hashimoto's. And that was it. Not even really an explanation about Hashimoto's, not really like connecting the dots with me about anything, the migraines, the weight gain, the like just kind of was like, yep, you have Hashimoto's. And I was like, well, what does that mean? And still very short, sweet, just went right to the prescriptions. We're going to put you on this. We're going to put you on that. She prescribed a thyroid medication for me. Prescribed um, she prescribed a bunch of supplements that are supposed to help, but didn't explain what they specifically treat. And again, I want to know, like, why am I taking this? Like, what is it going to do? Didn't mention diet at all, diet and nutrition at all. And she knows what I do for a living. She knows that I'm like basically a health and wellness coach, very interested in hormones. So maybe she just knew that I was going to go and like research it all myself. But I was really disappointed in the level of education I got on my condition. Very little discussion of like, what does this mean on autoimmune disorder? What is happening to my thyroid? She didn't actually tell me what subclinical was. I had to go and find that myself based on studying the different ranges and how I'm like right on the border, but in the new ranges that are coming out for thyroid, for optimal thyroid performance, I'm definitely hypothyroid. I have a hypothyroid. So I'm not producing enough thyroid based on the Hashimoto's, based on it being attacked. So again, not a lot of education, pretty disappointing. So I've gone down so many rabbit holes of education. I've been taking a bunch of free master classes, and I'm going to now recommend a bunch to you because one of them really was incredible, and I'm almost finished with it. But this one was, her name is Inna Topiler. I'm going to link it in the show notes, you guys. And she has an amazing podcast about hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, and understanding that mystery. And she also has right now a 10-day Hashimoto's weight loss transformation course. It was only $37. I was on like a wait list to get in. By the way, everybody's trying to sell something online, me included, right? Often there's these master classes. Often they're trying to sell you something at the end. Take advantage of those. Take advantage of that free content because a lot of the free content out there, they are giving so much free value away because they want you to buy in to what they're doing and what they offer you. I do the same thing with my free master classes. I teach you a ton. I teach you literally everything I have learned about alcohol addiction, about dependency, about the nature of alcohol, additionally about hormone balance, everything I've learned in that regard. I give a ton of that content away for free because I want you to be like, she knows her stuff. She's worth the price of the coaching, right? That's what they do. This 10-day course was awesome. Like I have learned so much more about thyroid, so much more about Hashimoto's than I could of just like researching it online and all the studies I was reviewing and whatnot. Like she's an expert. She's been doing it for 20 years, treating people. And so Inna Topiler, check it out. It was only $37 was this class. And it was priceless as far as I'm concerned. She had all sorts of cool all holistic things that you can do to treat Hashimoto's. Then I spent so much money on my naturopath experience, if you will, and that didn't even include the labs. So the labs that I did, the extended lipid panel, the cortisol test, and the hormone panel that I did I forget what I paid for the cortisol test because that was separate. It was a saliva test that I did. I want to say that was like $100. Then I did the extended lipid panel and the hormone panel were $158 after insurance. So I paid $158 out of pocket on top of, what is that? I need to do the math. I hate doing math live, you guys. I like panic. 158, let's just say $100 for that, and it was $94 for my medicine. I'm going to get my calculator out here. Oh, I'm not going to do it, guys, but let's just see. I'm over $1,000 in to have this experience and to get my hormones treated and to understand Hashimoto's. And this is actually before any real progress has been made, right? This is just to like figure stuff out and get on a treatment plan. Over $1,000, right? Damn. Damn, that's cost prohibitive. That is not sustainable for most people. And anytime I want to go back to this doctor or get repeat labs done, you want to get your labs done every 3 to 4 months. That's going to be another $158. And then the appointment is $345. And I'm just like so disappointed in the education. What we need is education. We need to learn, like, how do I integrate this into my life, right? Oh, and I forgot to mention my hormone results from these tests that I did. All of my hormones, all of my sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, were at the lowest end of normal. And again, another reason why I didn't fully get on board with my naturopath is that I said, oh, well, that's to be expected. That's perimenopause, right? That is the decline of my hormones. That is why I'm in the lowest end of the normal range. And she was like, no, you're not in perimenopause. And I didn't want to argue with her or get in the weeds about, well, how do you define perimenopause based on these lab results? Because to me, that's it, right? The lowest end. But I don't know if she thought I was too young or if I needed to have lower levels of estrogen, but everything was low enough to the point where she actually prescribed me testosterone and progesterone. So I am taking a progesterone pill and I'm taking a weekly injection of testosterone because the cream was too expensive. It wasn't covered by my insurance. So another amazing resource that I found that I was deep diving on was Dr. Michelle Sands, Sands, and she has the Glow Natural Wellness. I'll link everything in the show notes, but that's a masterclass I took on understanding the difference between bioidentical hormone replacement therapy versus synthetic hormone replacement therapy. And she offered an amazing program at the end of her masterclass that was for $139 a month. You can get a consultation with her, labs done, hormone labs done, and topical hormones delivered to your door. So the hormones that I was prescribed by my naturopath was injectable testosterone because the topical testosterone was not covered by my insurance and was going to be a fortune. And then progesterone pills. Now, in her masterclass, she explained that topical hormones are better, you get better outcomes with because they don't have to go through your digestive system. I don't know much more about that other than I guess topical is preferred. And so that's really cool. She actually does the manufacturing of the topical hormones herself, like their organization. It's like super clean and FDA approved without all of the additives and stuff that she said some compounding pharmacies use in their topical hormone formulas, I guess. So that is another amazing resource to check out. Check out the Glow Natural Wellness and her Hormone Club. So again, I watched the masterclass, so I got the discount of the $139 a month. Again, I paid $345 times two times for a naturopath visit. Right there, I would have paid for like 7 months of this lady's service. Then my hormones cost about $100 for the progesterone and the testosterone. And then the labs cost $158. So all in for me, to me, this program is going to save me so much money. And I really like the amount of free value she gave away in her masterclass. You can tell she really wants to help people and she wants this to be affordable. So that was an incredible resource you guys should all check out. So that has put me on my next path of I want to be able to offer more to my clients. Like my entire journey of deep diving into subjects is based on my own struggle with trying to cut alcohol out of my life, my own struggle with hormone balance in my early 40s and now 43, Hashimoto's, an autoimmune disorder. So I am now actually have applied to the Integrative and Functional Nutrition Academy because I'm going to become a certified and credentialed um, integrative functional nutrition practitioner. It's a mouthful. I cannot call myself a functional nutritionist because I don't technically have an RD, which is a registered dietitian. Um, but what's really, really cool is normally you have to have some sort of licensed, credentialed health background in order to apply for this certification. But based on my decade experience working as a diabetes sales specialist for Bayer Diabetes Care, where I worked with blood sugar management, insulin, management, that sort of thing, they have allowed me to apply for this credential as well. So it's about a 6-month course. It's going to cost me some money. I'm once again investing in this, but I love school. I love to learn. And what's really, really cool about this certification and credential is that it will allow me to order labs for clients and review labs and administer different treatment protocols. So different supplements, different lifestyle recommendations, all these things. So I kind of already do this stuff for people, but the lab piece was missing. And after my recent experience with labs and understanding labs and all the research I've done on the ranges and how to tie together, it's like a little puzzle piece, like watching all these different levers of your labs and how most doctors are looking at them in isolation, and they're just like, oh, you're in the normal range, you're the normal range. But if things are trending a certain way, that should be causing red flags. You should be looking for all of these different metabolic markers and thyroid, all these things. So I'm super motivated right now. I am eager to be able to solve this for myself and to experience it's one of those things too where it's like I feel pretty good. I'm a high energy person, but I have noticed a reduction in my energy. But my 60% energy is still more than most people's, right? My husband, I operate at such a level that even when I'm like sick or down or have low energy, I'm still like getting way more done than most people do. I still wake up at 5:15 in the morning. I'm still working out. I'm still doing all these things. But I've just noticed this slow decline of myself. And again, I just thought it was perimenopause, right? So it's not that I'm excited to have Hashimoto's, but I'm excited for there to be an explanation, a reason, and for it narrowing my focus on how to treat myself and how to explore different holistic approaches to this because it all can be done holistically. You can take thyroid medication, but it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on the thing. And what happens when you take thyroid medication is it raises your thyroid up to a normal level, but then the Hashimoto's still flares and it still attacks the thyroid again, causing a decline in the thyroid. So then you have to start upping your medication. So slowly over time, people keep upping their medication. And this medication, while there's not a ton of side effects, it can deplete your body of B vitamins. And again, I like to be as holistic as possible. And so there are so many different things you can do to manage this holistically. And it's all very tied into the same stuff we're doing in perimenopause to optimize this phase of our life so that we're not suffering. So it's all tied together. And it is it's given me renewed energy and motivation to try and solve something. And my next 6 months, I'm going to be really deep diving into this education. I'm also considering for the next 6 months to not do my group coaching programs, the Balance Challenge and the Brave course, because I'm going to be taking school. And so I want to just be focusing on my one-on-one clients. So stay tuned because I am going to be offering a Black Friday discount for my one-on-one coaching. I know the new year is coming up and a lot of people get motivated to make change during this time of year, of course. And so I would love to be a partner in your kind of new year, new you energy and stuff. And just so you know, the type of information you're going to be getting, the type of support is going to be about helping you cut alcohol, helping you balance your hormones. And as I'm now in these courses around autoimmune, and I also learned a ton about bioidentical hormones versus synthetic hormone replacement therapy. You're going to be getting all this fresh out of the teacher's mouth to you. Like you're going to be getting the latest science. I am like, I'm doing all the reading and all the education so you don't have to. Like one of my biggest gifts is that I'm like your human cliff note maker. This is what I am for my husband. He wants to know about stuff. He buys a book and he sets it on my desk and he's like, read this for me and give me the highlights, which I love to do. I'm a total geek. I sit here and read studies all day and listen to podcasts. And now I'm going to be legitimizing it all with some actual education, certification, and credentials. I'm going to be taking a board exam hopefully in 6 months from now. And then I will be able to order labs for you guys, review your labs, and get really, really granular about what treatment is going to work best for you. So this is exciting for me. Just wanted to share my journey. I would love to hear from you. I would love to be a part of your wellness journey in the new year. So DM me, go to my website, findmyselffree.com, set up a free coaching call, free. It's totally free. Maybe one-on-one coaching isn't for you and you want to get into my balance challenge. My balance challenge and Brave course will still be available as a one-off, but we won't be doing the group element to it where I will be holding like group calls and things like that because I think I'm going to not have enough time with my one-on-one clients and coaching. But that is TBD. But check it all out. I also will link all of the doctors and courses that I have been taking in my show notes. If you are someone like me who's like wants to go and get this information yourself, thank you, as always, for being here. My 11-year-old is about to bust in on his skateboard. I just heard him scoot by my window here. So as always, I am with you. And until next time, you got this. Hey team, you've just listened to an episode of Find Myself Free. And if some part of this left you wanting more, if your curiosity has been piqued and your intuition is telling you, I'm ready for more, I'm ready to look at my relationship to alcohol and find out just how much it's holding me back, then check out my coaching offers at findmyselffree.com. I offer the Brave course to kickstart your break on your own time, or you can hop on a call with me and talk about one-on-one coaching. I worked with a coach for 4 months at the start of my alcohol-free journey, and it made all the difference. Being able to talk to someone who knew what I was going through and could help me navigate my new world gave me a foundation of support I could build on. And it's a big reason why I'm a coach today. I want to help others find their freedom and level up their health. As always, if you like this episode, please like, follow, and share. And until next time, I'm with you. You got this.